Tonight, calls for GFG to pay contractors quicker as Whyalla businesses keep waiting for money they're owed. And the Clare Valley set for a tourism boost thanks to a new advertising campaign.
From our 7 Spencer Golf studios, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. The pressure is mounting on Sanjeev Gupta's GFG Alliance to clear a backlog of payments to contractors. It's understood millions of dollars are owed to local businesses. John Hunt has been following this developing story and has the details.
GFG have enjoyed a groundswell of public support since taking over the Whyalla Steelworks in September 2017. Today, they're facing their first stress test, with revelations local contractors are owed money. 7 Spencer Golf has been following this since November. Small Business Commissioner John Chapman says he's received numerous complaints this week regarding the non-payments.
Money that was due at early February, they don't know when they're going to get paid. Now, that simply isn't good enough.
GFG released a statement yesterday after the issue became public on Adelaide Radio. They've confirmed they are behind, blaming old, outdated systems and promising to communicate with those affected. However, Mr. Chapman says the communication has been an issue.
People are being told different stories depending on who they're talking to, because the range of companies that I've spoken to are dealing with different parts of the GFG group.
Today there was silence locally, with neither the council or the Chamber of Commerce speaking. 7 Spencer Golf understands a group of local businesses who've nicknamed themselves the Dirty Dozen are working to get paid. They range from those directly involved in steelworks operations right through to service industries. One source expressed frustration with it becoming public, saying they were privately working towards a result. Local MP Eddie Hughes is hopeful of a solution.
You can understand the sensitivity. The information that I'm getting is that the company are working on their procurement policies.
Treasurer Rob Lucas has released a statement saying he hopes a positive outcome can be reached. This non-payment issue could not come at a more awkward time, with GFG expected to be confirmed as a major sponsor of the Port Adelaide Football Club in coming days.
A P-plater has lost his licence and car after blowing a blood alcohol reading of .087. The Port Lincoln man was stopped by police on Wednesday evening. He was issued with a 6-month loss of licence and had his car impounded for 28 days. He'll appear in court at a later date. Regional South Australia is set to reap the benefits of new funding aimed at attracting skilled migrants to rural areas. Worth $20 million, it's predicted to be key to future industries in our region.
The number of industrial projects in the Spencer Gulf is a growing tally. And with South Australia still facing a local skills shortage, the federal government has turned its attention overseas to help service the needs, announcing $19.4 million to boost the numbers of skilled migrants in regional areas.
Over the next couple of years, we are going to be short of quite a number of skilled.
It's a targeted measure to ease the pressure of migration levels in the big cities and to prop up regional towns where there may be skills shortfalls. Priority visas could be fast-tracked under the plan, and migrants may have to live rural for up to 5 years before being granted permanent residency.
On these programs, you will need to go to the designated areas and stay there for a length of time and fulfil those work requirements.
Member for Grey Rowan Ramsey says the industrial scene of the Upper Spencer Gulf have raised concerns with him over gaps in the skilled workforce.
We can't afford to have significant projects held up because we don't have the labour to go in there.
Employers will be the ones driving the migration intake, and in the previous cases of other states, businesses must first prove they've tried to employ locally before they look internationally.
If you can get a local worker, go for it. But in the places where you can't, well, you need an option.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Perry's resident doctors will no longer service the hospital outpatients department, with the state's opposition labelling it a service crisis. The department will now be run by locum doctors, similar to the Wallaroo Hospital.
Too many patients a day keeps the doctors away. Port Pirie Hospital is the latest medical clinic in the region to have local doctors withdrawing their services.
I'm shocked at what's just come out about what's happening at the Port Pirie Hospital. Clearly the services there are in crisis.
A number of doctors have recently left the town, leaving behind an increased workload for the already thinly stretched group of general practitioners. SA Health declined an interview, but their Deputy CEO of the York and Northern region, Roger Kirshner, issued a statement. He says Port Pirie Hospital will be transitioning into a full locum model for the accident and emergency while they look at future options. Specialist doctors will continue to provide outpatient service, and there will continue to be no fees for patients attending the Port Pirie A&E. Mr Picton is calling on the state government to address the situation.
That's an essential service for people in the town and the surrounding areas. And I think the people in Port Pirie would be very concerned in terms of what's going to happen to their local hospital without those doctors.
Port Pirie Hospital is now being inundated by patients from neighbouring towns, due to their local clinics now charging for treatment. Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Lincoln's tuna season has had a bumpy ride with harsh weather restricting fishing times. But with still a month to go until the season ends, fisheries remain confident that it will still be a profitable year.
A difficult season for Port Lincoln's tuna industry. Harsh weather has battered boats this year with limited fishing time for farmers.
Weather restricts fishing to around 20 days a year. So, like land farming, there are good years and average years.
The Port Lincoln community owns 90% of the national tuna quota, and one bad season could spell trouble. But with already 50% of 2019's quota already caught, they're confident they'll end on a high.
We'll get through the season on time and we expect to do well.
Port Lincoln exports around 9,000 tonnes of its famous tuna a year, with its biggest market being Japan. But the Tuna Association says it wants to expand our already booming business with plans to increase trade with China and Korea.
The issue is that the Chinese market isn't traditionally a sashimi eating market, so we need to look at working on expanding that.
Developing tuna exportation to one of our biggest markets could see great things for the community.
We've got quota rises on the horizon, which in turn will mean more jobs and money back into our community.
Despite a rough start to the season, it looks like they'll finish with a bang. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, the Clare Valley, the focus of an international tourism campaign. And rubbish bins get a new lease of life in Broken Hill. Welcome back. A multi-million-dollar international tourism campaign announced by the state government today is set to benefit the Clare Valley by boosting foreign tourist numbers. It's hoped the campaign will lead to increased interest in the area, which will spill into nearby towns such as Burra and the York Peninsula.
Showcasing SA's wine culture to the world is sure to make the rest of Australia go red with envy. And the Clare Valley will be hoping to catch a drop of what's to come.
We want to now start importing people to South Australia, tourists, wine tourists.
Wine Australia and the Marshall government are committing $3 million towards the state's most prominent wine regions. Their goal to increase the number of visiting tourists from overseas.
Each of these areas have put their own bespoke package together to attract visitors, international visitors, to visit their area.
Industry leaders are welcoming the idea of a tourist boom, particularly the Clare Valley, which often misses out on one-day tourist visits by foreign nationals.
We're very excited to be part of this whole initiative by the state government, and it's given the Clare Valley Wine and Grape Association a real boost.
The region is in the process of creating online promotional content.
The development of wine tourism commissionable packages and product that we can market to international tourists.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Die-hard Mad Max fans from across the globe have converged on Silverton for a weekend of Mad Max-inspired events. The Silverton Collective happens every 2 years and celebrates all aspects of the post-apocalyptic films.
Living and breathing the Road Warrior.
This land, it will be ours! Dogs of War! Yeah!
The Silverton Collective is held every 2 years. It sees fans of the Mad Max franchise from all over the globe travel to Silverton to dress up, swap stories and dive into the world of the films.
Becoming the characters from a movie that you absolutely adore, with the vehicles that were in the film, with the locations. We're literally recreating it.
Today saw the event kick off with more in store tomorrow. The inaugural Road Warrior scavenger hunt starts at 10 o'clock and is open to everyone. Later in the evening, the Silver City Cinema will host the world premiere of Humongous, a documentary, a film about the life of cosplayer Jim the Tank Dorsey.
It deals with love and loss and mental health and major life changes, and it's really, halfway through the documentary, it takes a roller coaster ride of a plot twist.
There's some revealing stuff in this documentary that I must say takes some guts on my behalf to allow it to be aired.
Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, will be shown after the documentary. The Collective says if you want to stop by for a photo or check out the cars or props, you're more than welcome to. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Budding Aboriginal artists in Port Augusta are being given the opportunity to hone their creative skills. A workshop held in the town is the first of many more Indigenous art programs, with others in the pipeline.
A place for creative minds to think alike. This is one of the first times KU Arts have held a workshop in the town.
Yeah, we'll be here for 2 weeks and it's basically a hands-on studio workshop.
The type of art created is wide-ranging.
Painting and then weaving, we've got some jewellery making going on, we've also got some screen printing, basically anything goes.
Over 10 participants have been attending each day of the workshop, which was held throughout the week at the Aboriginal Uniting Church. Many say they've been crying out for a space to unleash their creative flair.
There's nothing in town where we could go and sit and relax and do things like this.
It's a space for artists to talk about creative practices, cultural practices, share stories and just have a really positive environment.
Younger faces have also jumped on board to grasp the age-old skills.
It's encouraging young people to come along and learn from the elders before the passing on of the elders.
The 2-week program has been funded by the Port Augusta City Council, and the budding artists hope it will return again throughout the coming years. It will continue at the church until Thursday next week. Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Rubbish bins in Broken Hill CBD have just become a whole lot smarter. Smart bins are being rolled out on the city's main street, and they're filled with plenty of modern-day technology.
Smarter than the average bin.
Council had budget this year to replace the bins within the CBD.
City Council has installed 7 new smart bins along Argent Street this week. What makes them so smart, you ask? A bin load of technology and functionality.
A bin that can hold 8 times the waste of a normal bin. It has a compactor inside.
A real-time monitoring system allows Council to see rubbish levels and determine which bins need to be emptied. This will allow staff to focus on other important duties instead of checking rubbish levels.
The other councils that have rolled this out have had 80% savings in efficiencies. Rather than picking them up 3 times a week that we currently do, we can start to reduce that and then put those resources elsewhere in council.
The bins also have routers which boosts the strength of the free Wi-Fi in the CBD. LED light boards on the sides can also help advertise events in the city or even businesses.
If anyone does throw in a hot ashes or a smoke butt, it'll self-extinguish. It also has an odour sensor in it as well, so we'll be able to tell if there's foul odour coming out of it. So, if a bin's been there for 2 weeks and hasn't been emptied and it starts to get a bit of a smell, we'll know well in advance that we need to go and pick that bin up.
No trash talk from these bins. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have a preview of the weekend's cricket fixture and Britt will join us with all the weather details. Whalers cyclists are in the final preparation stages for the annual Track Carnival this weekend. 75 riders will compete, including 10 under-23s from the State Sport Institute. And a favourite son is returning. Sprinter Lee Hoffman will race as he continues to push for next year's Tokyo Olympics.
Fairly proud of him, I know his parents are, and it's good to see a lot of riders from the club representing not only South Australia but Australia.
Also making an appearance is Daniel Siwek. The local has just signed with professional squad Van Dan Racing.
Travelling around Australia, doing a few races with the boys. It is a great opportunity, so hopefully can get a few results.
The event starts tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Now time for a preview of the weekend's cricket fixtures.
Yeah, g'day and welcome to this week's round of cricket tips for Port Augusta. On Saturday we see Central Stirling take on South Augusta at Etsa. South are the top side. Central are cruising along pretty well as well, but I can't see Central getting over South Augusta. The other match sees Westies take on Quorn on Sunday. This is a must-win match for West. If West lose, they will definitely not be playing finals. I'm going to go for Quorn to beat West. So my two winners this week, South Augusta and Quorn.
Hello and welcome to round 14 of Port Pirie Cricket. This round starts with Solly North taking on Props at Globe Oval. With second spot and the double chance on the line, this game means a lot to both sides. I'm tipping Props. In the other match, top versus bottom, with Wandeera up against Southport at Port Oval. I'm tipping Wandeera in that one.
Welcome to round 9 of Wyler Cricket. Saturday sees Rapina versus North Wyler Memorial Oval. Rapina welcomed back mate Nathan Van Ekeren after a successful Country Championships week in Adelaide. He should be the leading force in their win. Sunday sees Central and South Wyler play Memorial Oval. Scott and Daniel Collison, also back from the Country Champs week, will look to make some runs and take wickets. My tip, Central in a big win.
Welcome to this week's Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. Interesting round of cricket this one, with everyone playing the team below them on the ladder. First game sees Waybacks and Lincoln South out at Poole Oval. Going to tip Waybacks to get over the line in this one. And the next game sees Tasman's travel out to Dorward to take on Todd River. Going to tip the Tasman boys to upset Todd River. And in the final game, Charlton versus Southern Air out here at Centenary Oval. This will be a crackerjack game of cricket. Going to tip the Charlton boys to get over the line. Thanks for listening to Port Lincoln Cricket Tips.
Round 13 of Broken Hill Cricket this weekend sees two very entertaining games. Central, who defeated the previous undefeated North last week, take on South out at the Alma Oval. I think this will be a great game. I think Central may be on a little bit of a roll, and I think they may perhaps topple the Southerners. In the other game, North take on West at the Jubilee Oval, and I think this should be a fairly easy win for North.
Now let's hear from Britt with the weekend weather forecast.
Thanks, Louise. It's been a partly cloudy Friday across most regions. Port Augusta with a top of 26 today, Whyalla 25, light showers at Port Lincoln 23, Broken Hill 29 and Port Pirie 28. To the clouds, a high pressure system is persisting over the Bight and will continue to do so into next week. Tomorrow a front will move over southern parts of South Australia. Looking to the Gulf waters, southwesterly winds at 15 to 20 knots, swells to 2.5 metres. And sunrise is due just after 6:45 with sunset at 8:19. And we'll see showers over some parts tomorrow. Port Augusta partly cloudy with a top of 26, Whyalla cloudy and 25, a medium chance of showers at Port Lincoln, most likely in the morning and early afternoon, 24 the top. Similar conditions at Coffin Bay, 25 degrees, Woodner cloudy and 24, Quorn 26, Broken Hill sunny tomorrow, 28 degrees, a shower or two at Port Pirie with a top of 26, Clare showers and 22, Cleve 23, Kadina 26. Moving ahead now to the 4-day forecast, Port Lincoln looking mostly cloudy, Sunday 25, Monday 26. Cleve fine Sunday, Monday. Woodner partly cloudy on Sunday, a top of 27, Monday 29. Whyalla fine and 25 on Sunday, some sun on Monday 29. Port Augusta partly cloudy on Sunday 28 degrees, Monday sunny and 33. And a fine few days ahead for Kadina with maximums in the mid to late 20s. Port Pirie mostly sunny on Sunday 28, 31 the top on Monday. Clare a top of 25 on Saturday, Monday 26. And Broken Hill sunny across the weekend and into next week, 28 on Sunday, Monday 33. And that's all from me, Louise. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too, Britt. Thank you for that. And that's your local news this week. We hope you have a lovely weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.